You're back for 3i Atlas, third interstellar guest. First to give us an entire public season in 2025. The postcard is fixed, discovered July 1st, 2025 by the Atlas Wide Field Telescope at Rio Hurtado, Chile. Hyperbolic fit held. 3i tag followed. Hubble's July 21st portrait showed a streaked star field and a teardrop coma wrapped around a faint, unresolved core. Perihelion passed 2930 Octi 2025 at a 136 AU. No Mars had the best angle first. 1-7 Octi 2025 ExoMars TGO and Mars Express watched a small, moving glow near closest approach to Mars. Earth lost the target in conjunction, then picked it up again in November pre-dawn. Those windows decide our plan. Rails near peak, orphans in calm pre-dawn. Axis whenever a small brightening shows up without a solar wind tantrum. Keep that schedule in your pocket. We use it like lenses. We promised 3 lenses and only 3. Ghostly ion rivers for rails, orphan tails for shelves, offbeat spins for steering. Same metaphors, cleaner edges, same rules, fewer excuses. Start with rails. Dust fans are sunshine and powder. Ion rivers are charge and patience. Sunlight strips electrons from escaping molecules. The solar wind drapes its magnetic field around the coma like silk around a stone in a stream. The ion river is that silk glowing, thin, bluish, leaning not exactly anti-sun, but along whatever lane the wind prefers this hour. Early inbound, 3i Atlas drew a quitter. The strand peeled off quickly. The brightest segment sat far from the nucleus, and the angle fidgeted. Loose coupling, thin coma. By perihelion, the strand learned to hug. Pickup distance crept inward. Pivots slowed. The line clung to the downwind side before releasing. In calm pre-dawn windows outbound, angles repeated politely. The handwriting improved. We only carry 2 numbers from night to night so we don't lie to ourselves. Pivot per hour, how fast the river's angle changes. Pickup distance, how far from the nucleus the strand peaks in brightness. Slow pivot plus close pickup implies calm sectors and quick ionization. Laminar mixers in the nursery that raised this dust. Fast pivot plus far pickup implies restless sectors and delayed ionization, turbulent mixers in that nursery. Mixers matter. Lanes make chemistry polite. Splash throws charge and heat across boundaries and forces strangers to meet. Planet crusts remember who met whom first. 2025 added a control experiment. Mars side rails versus Earth side rails. The TGO dot on the move offered timing, not detail, but it anchored when the river should start sharpening. Earth's November pre-dawn gave the better signal. We expected modest convergence of river angles between early October, Mars geometry, and mid-November, Earth geometry, not identity. Convergence says the coma learned to hold field lines. Identity would be magic. Space weather never swears the same oath twice. If your notebook shows pickup migrating inward and pivots decelerating across those 2 windows, stamp. Rails matured coupling. If pickup retreats and pivots speed up, stamp flirted and left. Either stamp is a nursery note for the next visitor. Now the loner, orphan tails. We keep the sun arrow in our head and the frame wide enough that parents stay in view. An orphan is a third sliver that refuses both families. It appears at a stubborn angle, lasts minutes, sometimes glows warm, then vanishes as if someone closed a secret door. 3 flavors matter. Neutral orphans are atoms coasting before they enlist. They start off axis and then drift toward the river after an ionization delay. Narrowband orphans are chemically picky. They light when a specific species near the surface gets freed under a specific angle of light. Geometry orphans are ours to blame. Crops too tight, arrow forgotten, illusions promoted. The 2025 rule stayed strict. Keep the arrow, keep the wide frame. Watch for 10-15 minutes before naming. If a sliver bends toward the river with a short delay, neutral's enlisted. You measured a field ionization stopwatch. The stopwatch depends on UV mood and species in the pantry. If a warm sliver keeps a loyal angle only when the dayline crosses one longitude and repeats across mornings, you found a clocked shelf. Narrow plumbing in a surface layer. Both are pantry labels. Pantries seed first crusts. First crusts set early ocean's accents. You do not need fireworks. You need patience. 2025 was quiet but kind to this lens. The calm pre-dawn windows after conjunction were best. No viral frames, a few honest chances for a 5-15-minute sliver. If we get 2 repeats at one longitude, we promote it to shelf and pencil a mark on our imaginary surface map. If 3 clean tries yield nothing, we write deep or shy pantry and we stop wishing. Silence is also a label. Third lens, offbeat spins. Keep your plotted rotation period. What earns the log is the slow drift of the inner bright patch, the tiny compass near the core, when the period refuses to budge. The hour hand keeps time, the minute hand wanders. That's precession if the axis traces a cone, nutation if it nods, and, if you prefer blunt truth, tiny thrusters steering a potato. Thrusters are vents. Off-center thrust plus time equals drift. A lazy, smooth drift says many small pushes share the work. A sharp flip after a modest brightening says a single vent woke and grabbed the wheel. The size of that flip is a lever arm with a mustache. Small flips, low density, patch cohesion, lots of little hands on the wheel. Big flips, compact mass, stiffer patches, a few big hands taking turns. Late 2025 sketched a temperament without shouting. Quiet nights near peak, gentle drifts that tended to lean toward the river as draping strengthened. 2 modest brightenings, clean flips with the period unchanged. Outbound, faster settling after nudges as fronts migrated and thin shells stiffened. That's rubble pile logic in practice. Glue forward assembly with voids that survive. Debris, like that builds worlds. We stack the 3 ledgers, rails, orphans, axes, into one picture without drama. Rails tell who mixes. Orphans tell what sits on the shelf. Axes tell how the shelves are hung. Sing them together and you get a kitchen profile for the nursery that raised this traveler. Not a street address. A recipe. Lanes or splash. Shy shelves or loud ones. Cabinets that wobble or hold. Before cases and predictions, pin 4 2025 factlets that color the edges. First, the Atlas discovery on July 1st put honest coordinates on a rumor. Hyperbolic early, interstellar later, zero panic. Second, HST 21 July confirmed a real coma and justified linear stacks over pretty curves. Third, Gemini South in late August showed tail growth and told observers to begin logging pickup distance in earnest. Fourth, a late-season estimate of 140 km water loss got described as fire hose scale. Take the number as provisional. Keep the order of magnitude. It's enough mass to feed a neat river, to test Orphan stopwatches, and to give the compass something to push against. Now the 3 cases that 2025 allowed us to stage cleanly. Perihelion rail rhythm, 3 watches over a week around the bright turn. Watch A, 1 tidy strand, pick up close, angle steady. Watch B, 2 strands braid and unbraid, no drama at the core. Watch C, 1 tidy strand again, modestly offset. That's magnetic sectors flipping with manners. Consequence upstream, laminar lanes with scheduled lane changes. Consequence downstream, early crusts under that discipline inherit smoother gradient dawn orphan test. 3 calm mornings a week apart. the dayline kissing the same quadrant. A thin, warm-hinted sliver appears at the same offset for 10 minutes, refuses both families, then leaves. That's a clocked shelf with narrow plumbing. Consequence for worlds. Consistent trace species near the skin, delivered to soils and seas on a schedule. A subtle accent, reliable enough to matter. Compass weekend. 2 quiet nights. The compass walks east, period stable. Night 3. A modest brightening flips the drift west. Outbound nights later show the compass settling faster after similar nudges. Lever arm woke, steered, then got tamed. Consequence. Debris that listens early, then stabilizes. Glue forward growth with pores that survive to become texture in first rocks. Rude nights paid rent too. A river that split into 3 while the dust fan yawned separated wind-ruled from mass-ruled features on the same frame. A warm sliver that leaned away and then slid toward the river taught stopwatch discipline. Ionization time is a number, not a vibe. A wobble on a flat brightness night with no squall proved geometry can flip leverage without changing supply. Shape, not pantry, moving the wheel. Now the predictions, written like bets you can grade when data settle. Prediction 1. Rails mature outbound. At matched solar distances inbound versus outbound, with similar geometry, the rivers pick up. Distance sits closer and pivot per hour is lower outbound. Rationale. Draping strengthened around perihelion as gas rose and grains charged. Decay is polite, not chaotic. If pickup moves farther and pivots speed up, downgrade rails from matured coupling to flirted and left. Either verdict tightens the kitchen profile. Prediction 2. Quiet dawn orphan. Best chance for an orphan is a 5:15 min sliver in calm pre-dawn, repeating when the same surface longitude meets the dayline. 2 repeats, shelf. 0 after 3 tries, deep, shy pantry. If a sliver appears and then aligns with the river after a short delay, log the delay as the ionization stopwatch and compare across nights. Stopwatch differences hint at species before spectra speak. Prediction 3. Spin flips shrink late. Modest brightenings late in the active arc still flip the compass with period unchanged, but the amplitude shrinks and settling time shortens outbound. Plumbing learned. Shells stiffened where they always do. If flips stay large and sticky, cohesion is patchier. Reset buttons keep getting pressed. Prediction 4. Anti-tail window is narrow. Geometry after conjunction allows a brief anti-tail window, dust sheet in the orbital plane, detectable only in deep linear stacks. Require 2 nights before belief. Label it geometry, not chemistry. Prediction 5. Mars versus Earth rails converge, not match. Compare early October rails implied by the TGO window with November pre-dawn rails at similar phase. Expect modest convergence as the coma learns to hold field lines. Large mismatches under quiet wind are geometry problems, not nucleus philosophy. Why these bets matter for worlds under construction follows the ladder we've kept since episode 1. Rails set the mixer. Laminar lanes deliver charge and heat predictably. Turbulent splash shuffles them across boundaries. Orphans name the spices. Shelves that vent on schedule seed soils and seas with repeatable traces. Deep shelves keep accents buried until impacts or tectonics pry them loose. Axes pick assembly style. Compliant compasses imply glue-forward debris that preserves pores. Sulky compasses imply gravel-forward debris that layers by hammer. 3i Atlas, as 2025 wrote it, sits in the quiet bakery quadrant. Rails trending hugger at peak. Shelves, if present, polite and geometry-bound, axis-compliant and self-stabilizing outbound. A tendency, not a vow. The scoreboard stays open. Speaking of the scoreboard, We make it public and simple. 3 columns, 0 to 3 each. Rail calmness, orphan stubbornness, axis compliance. Rail calmness, 0, no strand or chaos. 1, faint strand, fast pivot, far pickup. 2, a tidy strand with either closer pickup or slower pivot. 3, both closer pickup and slower pivot in matched distance comparisons. Orphan stubbornness, 0, rumors without arrows. 1, neutrals enlisting once, sliver bends toward river after delay. 2, repeat enlistment or one-off loyal sliver with a color hint. 3, clocked orphan repeating at the same longitude across 2 or more mornings. Axis compliance. 0, heart noise. 1, gentle drift, unrelated to modest brightenings. 2, flips after modest brightenings with quick settling. 3, flips plus shrinking amplitude late in the arc. Score each watch night. Average across 3 windows. Pre-conjunction whisper, perihelion week. Post-conjunction pre-dawn. If rails climb and stay high while orphans stay shy and the axis lands at 2 to 3, write quiet bakery in the margin and move on. If rails stay wild, orphans never show in calm light, and the axis ignores small nudges, circle rowdy workshop, and ask whether the pantry is deep or depleted. Labels are for memory, not for fights. You wanted the story to stay fun without lying. Here is the small theater that survives scrutiny. The Ion River is the wind's neon signature on the Comet's back. On tidy nights, the pen writes one continuous line. On lively nights, it lifts and draws 2 parallel strokes that braid while sectors flip. The Orphan is a hidden pantry door that only unlocks when the sun knocks from one rare angle. Stand a step left, and you swear the wall is honest. The compass is a kitchen timer that loses a minute on purpose whenever the oven lights. It keeps tempo overall, then wanders before it forgives you. That's the picture. The rest is bookkeeping, so the picture doesn't cheat. We end clean and keep our promises. 3i Atlas underperformed as spectacle and overperformed as discipline, which is exactly what you want from a teacher. July 1st, Atlas finds it. July 21st, Hubble fixes the early coma. Late August, Chile shows tail growth and tells you to start logging pickup distance. 1 to 7 in October. Mars gets the geometry and ESA pins a mid-season anchor. 29-30 October. Perihelion at 136 AU, November, pre-dawn. Earth recovers, rails behave, orphans, if any, prefer quiet light. The compass listens and then settles. Rails learn to hug. Shelves, if present, whisper on schedule. The axis answers to nudges and calms quickly late. Enough to weigh the next stranger. Next episode, we widen the hunt beyond 3i Atlas and aim at the oldest question. Are we alone? We'll track guests that aren't comets, candidate biosignature gases, technosignature whispers, rogue planets with warm skins, ocean moons that breathe through cracks, and interstellar dust that smells like chemistry. We'll show how to weigh a whisper, methane that brings a partner, oxygen out of balance, phosphine that won't sit still, and narrowband radio that refuses to be geology. No miracles, just statistics, patience, and receipts. If you want the mystery with the math, subscribe to Night Sky Narratives and come back for the search for life. The night sky keeps secrets. Bring coffee. Space stays up late.